So far, we have seen various finite state automata as language acceptors. And today, we are going to see a new application for finite state automata. And the application is as transducers, meaning finite state automata which takes an input and transforms the input into a different form. For example, you can have a finite state automaton taking a binary input and producing the complement of the input as its output. Another example, you can have a finite state automaton taking a source code in C program and converts all its character constants into its equivalent ASCII value, or simply you can have a finite state automaton taking a string of letters in C alphabet set as input and generating the sequence of ASCII values as the output. These are examples. And today we are going to see two different kinds of finite state automata with output, and they are Moore machines and Mealy machines. And that is the agenda for today. So, what is a Moore machine? As I just introduced, it's nothing but a finite state automaton with output. Till now, we have finite state automaton for accepting languages. So, the output is either yes or no, whether the input is accepted or rejected. But today, we are going to see Moore and Mealy machines which can take an input and produce an output by transforming the input. Let us start with an example. Consider a finite state automaton modeling the lift system in a building with the 4 floors, namely ground floor, first floor, second floor, and third floor. Suppose this is the requirement where we need to have a finite state automaton modeling the lift system in a building with 4 floors. This may be an example finite state automaton modeling it. So there are only 4 states, one corresponding to each floor. So this is corresponding to floors, ground floor, then first floor, second floor, and third floor. And originally you start in the ground floor, the lift starts in the ground floor. So you are in this state means the lift is in the ground floor. And the alphabet set here is up and down. Up means the lift is moving up to the next floor. Down means the lift is coming down to the floor below it. So this is a very simple model. And now we can see the need for output. Associating the name of the floor, these names, as output for a state makes the model more clear. Assume that you are associating an output with the states. Here, for example, the output of the state Q0 will be ground floor, Q1 first floor, Q2 second floor, and Q3 third floor. And thus, we are associating an output with every state in a finite state automaton. For example, on a given input string, you know that the input alphabet is up and down. So an input string means a sequence of movements of the lift starting from the ground floor. The first input symbol must be up because that is the only possible move for the lift. So given an input string, the output string will be what? The output string will be the sequence of floors visited by the lift. We can have an example. Suppose this is a given input string for this automaton, up, up, down, up. We can try to trace the computation of this automaton. So what will be the output? and you start with the start state and realize that without even consuming an input symbol you got an output, because you start with the start state which itself is having an output. So the output is displayed. The moment you start, the lift is in the ground floor, so that floor name is displayed as output. So what is the first input symbol? Up. So you follow the up transition, you are coming to this state and the output is displayed. Whatever is the output of the state is displayed up, first floor. Then again up, you are following this, and now second floor is displayed. And then is a down, so you are taking the down arrow, and whatever is the output of that state, the moment you visit a state, the output is displayed. And next is up, so you are getting second floor as output, then down, you are getting first floor as output, and finally up, you are getting the second floor as output. So this is a very simple example which is enough to illustrate the need for a finite state automaton with output associated with states. And here note that if the input is of length 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what will be the output length? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 more than the input length, because before consuming the first input symbol you are in the first state, and that itself is giving an output, and that is the extra output symbol. Hope it is clear. And in this case we know that final states are not required for this kind of an application, because here we are modeling a system in this case, and hence all are like output final states, because everything is a possible thing and there is no specific final state we need here. So final states are not required for a Moore machine. And this type of a finite state automaton with output, where outputs are associated with states like this, are called Moore machines. And with this example, let us now try to define a Moore machine formally. With this example we can try to do it. A Moore machine is a finite state automaton A, which is defined as a quintuple over an alphabet set sigma, where what is Q? Q is nothing but these states, that is a finite set of states. And what is the second component? Is small s, and what is it? Here it is Q0, and that is an element of Q, which is the start state. Now the third component is delta, and what is delta here? These transitions. So delta is transition function from a state for an input symbol. What is the next state? That is transition function. And the fourth one, and here you note that the input alphabet is up and down. Okay, it's defined over a given alphabet set sigma. In this example, it is up down. And the fourth component is gamma. And what is gamma? Gamma is an additional object when compared to a DFA, and here it is the finite set of output alphabet. This is a finite set of output alphabet. And now the last component that also is extra in Moore machine when compared to a DFA, and what is it? It's actually this mapping. Each state is mapped to an output, and that is the output function. It's a function from the state to the output alphabet set. So it's a function from the state set to the output alphabet set. For every state, it associates an output alphabet as the output of the state. So this is how you define a Moore machine formally. Maybe we can look at one more example. Another application of a Moore machine as a sequence detector for 1010. How it is designed is a different question, and look at it. If you are not considering the outputs for these states, it's just a deterministic finite state automaton on the input 0 and 1. And let us see what is it doing. Suppose you are given with this input string. Try to trace the computation on the machine on this input, and what will be the output. You start with the leftmost symbol, So you are starting in the start state, and you know that already you are getting an output because there is an output associated with the start state itself. So without consuming an input, there is always an output symbol, and it is the symbol 0. And what is the first symbol? It is 1. So you are taking the 1 transition. The moment you visit the new state, the symbol is output. So here the symbol is 0. Next is 0. You are taking the 0 edge, and new output is 0 because here the output is 0. The next is 1, and 1 is taking you here, 0 is printed. Next is 0, taking you here, and 1 is printed. And what is next? Next is 0. 0 edge is taking you to this point, and output 0. And next is 1. 1 is taking you to this state, output 0. Next is 0. 0 from there is taking you to this state, and output is 1. And the last 1 transition is taking you to this state, and output is 0. And this is what is output. And I call it as a sequence detector. If you observe, you can see that the 0, 1, 0 is occurred twice in this input string. 0, 1, 0 and 0, 1, 0. And how I designed this machine is, it has to output a 1 the moment it identifies 0, 1, 0 is the input. The moment it sees 0, 1, 0, the moment it outputs 1. Again this 0, 1, 0, it outputs 1. So you can use it as a sequence detector. It's a very non-application of a Moore machine. So it's a sequence detector. And this is what is called an overlapping sequence detector. And to say what is an overlapping detector, let us consider another example. Here is an input, and believe me, this is the output that this machine is going to give you. And here you can see that 0, 1, 0 is again here. This 0, 1, 0 and this 0, 1, 0. These are overlapping. This 0 is overlapping between these two. And this machine is even considering overlapping occurrences of the sequence. And that is what it's saying, overlapping sequence detector. Even if the sequences are overlapping, then it must detect it, and that's it. Hope you got it. And with this, I'm moving forward, and I'm giving you an exercise question as assignment. So what's it? Design a Moore machine as a non-overlapping sequence detector for 1010. Remember, what we did is overlapping sequence detector, but you are asked to design a non-overlapping sequence detector for the binary sequence 1010. Try doing it. And with this, we are finishing discussion on Moore machine, and later we will consider after Mealy machine to compare their power. So moving on to the next kind of finite state automaton with output, which is what is called a Mealy machine. And here also we can try to understand the need for such a machine with an example, and later we can formalize the definition. Consider this example. Here's a question: can we design a finite state automaton for finding the ones complement of a binary string? So here the requirement is, you need to have an automaton which takes a binary string as input, and it should produce the ones complement of the binary input as the output. And the answer is yes, you can do it. So what you should do is design a machine where the transitions are associated with output. You know that already in a DFA the transitions are labeled with input, and here you are going to label a transition both with both input and output, and that is the difference. Here the blue colored characters or objects represents the output. That means when you read an input 0, you output 1, and when you read an input 1, you output 0. That's exactly what you want to do. So unlike in Moore machine, here we are associating output with the transitions. In Moore machine, we have associated output with the states, and here we are associating output with transitions. And if you get this input, what will happen? What will be the output? You know that whenever you read a 0, you are outputting 1, and whenever you are reading a 1, you are outputting 0. This transition means if the input symbol is 1, you output 0 and go back to Q0. Similarly here, if the input symbol is 0, you output 1 and retain your state. So the output will be the binary complement, 1's complement, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. And that's it. And here again, finite states are not required. And this type of a finite state automaton with output, where outputs are associated with transitions, are called Mealy machines. And with this example, let us try to formalize the definition of Mealy machine, which is very similar to Moore machine. The only difference is here the outputs are associated with transitions rather than states. So, with this example, let us recollect all the components and define it. A Mealy machine is a finite state automaton A, which is again a quintuple over an alphabet set sigma. Here the alphabet set sigma is 0, 1 and the output alphabet is again 0, 1 because you need to convert a binary string into its complement. So, both input and output alphabets are same. And the output alphabet depends on your application. So, Q is the finite set of states. Here in this example, only one state, Q0. S is the start state, here Q0, the only state. Delta, the transition function, no difference when compared to DFA or DFA and Moore. All the three have the same transition function definition. Gamma, the finite set of alphabet, output alphabet, here 1, 0. And finally, the output function, what is it? It is defined from a state. If the input is something, then what is the output? That is how it is defined. For example, here, if the input is, if you are in Q0 and if you are reading the input 0, then you output 1. And that is how you define the transition. What is the only other transition? This means if you are in Q0, and if you are reading 1 as input, then you output 0. So, a transition is defined. If you are in a state and if you are reading an input symbol, then what will be the output? So, the output here is depending on both the states and the input. In Moore machine, it is only depending on the state because it was from state to gamma. But here it is from state cross input to gamma because from a state for an input, what is the output? Hope it is clear. And now I am giving you an exercise as assignment. Design a Mealy machine which complements the 2 bits after the sequence 1001 in a binary string. That is, you read a binary string and the moment you see a 1001 and you have to complement the 2 bits after it. You don't have to complement the string as a whole, but after the occurrence of this substring, the next 2 symbols must be complemented. Here is an example. Here you can see that this is 1001. This is a string, so the next 2 bits are complemented. Here again 1001 is there. So the next 2 bits are complemented. Not that this is an overlapping complement, overlapping detector, and you have to complement the next 2 bits. So not difficult to do, but not that. Before we discussed a Moore machine for a sequence detector, but here you have to design a Mealy machine. And that is a tricky thing, but towards the end of this lecture, you can see that you can always do it. Now moving on to the comparison, Moore and Mealy machine. Here my objective is to tell you that given a Moore machine, you can automatically convert it into a Mealy machine. Let us do it for the first example, that is the lift system, and this is the model that we discussed. And if you want, you can obtain a Mealy machine from this. This is a Mealy machine, not that here the outputs are taken from the states and associated with the transitions. Okay, don't worry about how I did this transformation. But assume you are given with these two machines and you are asked to verify whether these two machines are equivalent, in the sense that if you give some input, both the machines will produce the same output. Maybe we can try to understand with an example. Here is an input to the given Moore machine. What will be the output? As you know, you start with the start state, and without consuming an input simple, you are getting GF as output. And then is up is taking you here, first floor, down, taking you here, ground floor, up, taking you again back to this state, and is first floor, then again up to second floor, then up, then it's down. Okay, up to the second floor, and then down will take you back to first floor. Sorry for the jump, and you can easily see that. And now see what will happen if you apply the same input on the milli machine. So here is the input. As you know, you start with the start state, and now I am going to make this move without consuming an input, because I can do it because it's an epsilon. I am assuming it like an NFA with an epsilon transition. So I can do this transition without consuming any input. So I am doing it. So I am coming to here and I am getting ground floor. Then what is it? Up. Up means you take this transition. The moment you take a transition here, you note that the transitions are associated with the output. So you output the simple. Then what is next? Down. You're taking this and outputting GF. Then next is up. You're taking this and outputting FF. Then again and up. You're taking this and output is SF. Then finally a down and you are outputting FF. That's it. And so what we did here is that if you want to know what the algorithm is, what I did is I took this machine as such, and I know that I have to pull out the label to the edge which is coming to that state, and for the first state no transition is coming to that, so I added a new state as the start state of the mealy machine. And then what I did is I pulled the output simple into the transition, and that is what I did in every case. From here I pulled this FF. That is what this is. From this transition I pulled this GF, because where is the head pointing to? Pull the output simple out and add it to the input level as output. And that's what I did. This is a very simple procedure, so you can do it. Now you see for Mealy and Moore. So before that I am giving you an assignment. Okay, obtain the Mealy machine from the following Moore machine. So you apply the algorithm that we just discussed now and see what Mealy machine you are getting, and observe that or verify that your output is correct. Maybe you can just test it with some example inputs. That's enough. Moving forward, Mealy and Moore machines. So here my aim is to tell you that given a Mealy machine, you can obtain a Moore machine. Here's the example that we discussed. This is for finding the complement. Now I am giving you a Moore machine. This is a Moore machine on binary input. The outputs are associated with states. And let us see how the machine will process an input. And you know that this is a complementing Mealy machine, so output will be the complement of it. Fine. Not difficult to see, because for every 0, what is the output? For every 1, 0 is the output. And see what is going to happen for the Moore machine that we produced. Input is the same thing, and output, and you start with the start state where the output is epsilon. I purposely made it as epsilon. So output epsilon, without consuming any input, you are getting an output. That is always the case with the Moore machine. And now it's 1. Take the 1 transition. Just take the 1 transition, and the moment you land up in a state, output the level of the state. So this is the 1 transition you are landing up. Here 0 is output. The next is 0. This is the transition, so 1 is output. Then next is 1. This is the 1 transition, 0 is output. Then 0. This is the transition, 1 is output. then 1, the transition is here, 0 is output, then 0 taking you back here, 1 is output, and then from there 1 is taking you down to this state and 0 is output. And you can easily observe that exactly this is the complementing mode machine. So I'm not going to give you the idea of this algorithm, which is very simple. You find it as an exercise and you also apply the algorithm that you are observing to obtain a Moore machine from the Mealy machine that you obtained as solution for assignment 2, that is in slide number 76 of this lecture. I had given you an assignment on slide 76 and where you are asked to find Mealy machine, and now you take that Mealy machine as input and you obtain a Moore machine. So what we saw is that these are equivalent, and now we are moving to the final discussion in this lecture, which is a comparison between Mealy and Moore machine. Mealy and Moore machine, sorry. So first is Moore machine. The first point is that output depends only on the present state, that you know, because the states are given outputs. But in a Mealy machine, you know that the output is depending on the current state and the current input. That's the first difference if you want to structurally. That's the first difference. Second is, generally a Moore machine will have more number of states. May not be very clear, but it will be very clear when we consider the corresponding point for Mealy machine. Generally it will have less states because you recall that in Moore machines outputs are associated with states, and in Mealy machines outputs are associated with transitions. And from graph theory we know that a graph with n nodes can have n into n minus 1 directed edges or transitions. Okay, if you have n states, you can have up to n into n minus 1 transitions. So if transitions are associated with outputs are given to transitions, then the number of states required is less. And that is the reason for this point, and hope you followed it. Otherwise, see it again and try to understand what is going on. Then we observe that the input of length n gives output string with length n plus 1 for a Moore machine, because you start with the output symbol of the start state. Without consuming an input symbol, you are getting an output, and that is the reason n plus 1. While in Mealy machine, it's n only. So in this class, we have seen finite state automata with output, and we have seen two different types of finite state automata with output, and they are Moore machines and Mealy machines. Moore machines, the outputs are associated with states, and in Mealy machines, outputs are associated with transitions. And we also observe that Moore and Mealy machines are functionally equivalent. Structurally different, but functionally equivalent. Because given one machine, you can automatically transform it into another machine, giving the same output, having the same semantics. So today, unlike in all the previous classes, we have seen finite state automaton as transducers, that is taking an input and giving an output. Thank you.